Alrighty, so there we go. We are live.
Woohoo! We're back! And it's spooky month.
Yeah. Oh, and we're actually on earlier than usual. I'm usually running 10 minutes late to my own stream.
Well, when in doubt, when you're talking about something Frankenstein related, are you early or late? You're exactly like lightning strikes when it strikes, regardless of how it comes. Tanning bed,
Oh, God.
crazy scientific equipment, whatever.
Yeah, I started referring to it as the tanning bed time machine.
Oh, 100%. I love that part. Like the fact that it's the Spark, I think it was the Spark of Life company that was on the tanning bed.
Oh, I totally missed that.
I only caught it on my second viewing. It was like, that's cool.
I watched it a second time just right before we jumped on, and I think I was just so caught up in taking notes that I just totally missed that.
Oh no, well, and that's a nice thing about this movie, and it's clearly 80s nostalgia. Like that is what this is. Let's be honest, but it's done
Mhm.
in such a cool and interesting way. It's got a lot of rewatchability because of all those little bits.
Yeah. Like this time I caught on the gravestone, yeah, or the tombstone, where the one sister Taffy, she comments, "Oh, that's weird," but she doesn't tell the dad what it is. And this time I actually caught it at the way, way bottom corner. It actually reads "Beloved."
Aw, that's cool.
Yeah. So I did catch that one. Yeah, it's understood the film is set in the 80s, but for me, it really, or maybe it's just the music used in the movie, it doesn't really give me that much of an 80s vibe. Like, you get the reference, like the soap opera with the guy and the patch on his eye, which I'm not sure which one that was because I'm not a soap opera person,
Me neither.
but I love they totally do the soap opera stance right after they kill the stepmom and the guy. I just call him Dead Guy. I didn't catch his name.
I don't think. I think he's just referred to as the creature, like by the credits. I think.
Oh, okay, I missed that. But yeah, he hands her the ear and he wants her to put it on, and she's like, "Oh no, I can't. Not until we bury the body first." And they like come in close, and she has her hand on his chest, and they're in this half hug, and I'm like, that is so soap opera.
Well, even her name, like it was some thought it was maybe Lisa Frank as like Lisa as in reference to like Lisa Frank stuff out of the 80s, but it was
Yes.
oh gosh, I lost it. I had it here in trivia as to what the trivia actually is for the name.
Oh,
Um
to
but
play off of Frankenstein, I guess. I don't.
no, that part of it, the Lisa thing is not. It is. Oh crap. Oh, no. Where is it? I'm
Lisa,
so sorry.
Lisa, and the Cult Jam. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, Weird Science, which also
Weird
features a
science.
combination. Wait.
It does.
Uh, Lisa's name comes from Weird Science, which also contains reference to Frankenstein and features protagonists that bring a love interest to life. Apparently.
I no, I didn't even know that. I was also thinking Lisa Frank, and to me, it made sense because you have all these bright, vivid colors in the entire movie. I'm like, so in my mind, I was thinking, I see what you did there.
Yeah. No. 100%. And just the amount of just random 80s references in this is just it's it's such a it's such a throwback and such a like it lives in that world, like the colors and the it's just like the 80s exploded all over it. Like you look at the home
Yeah.
decor of the house, the fact it's pink. Oh my
Oh
god.
gosh. I look at that, and my first thought is Pepto Bismol.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That is there was town I grew up in had a house like that, only it was like vivid purple. And it's like
Oh,
who does vivid purple for a house? I mean, I guess it's no weirder than anything else, but yeah, oof.
yeah. I mean, some colors are just. I don't know. It would have been interesting if it was mint green. I mean, that I can kind of see getting a pass.
Yeah. Those yeah. Although this the yeah, it's the design of everything in this, it definitely yeah. There's no doubt where it takes place. I don't even know. The cars, the way that they dress, it's such I don't know, it's such an interesting movie.
Yeah. I mean, I like it, especially the whole '80s throwback, and I mean, me and my retro stuff. But some of the references I got, some I didn't. But I don't know. For me, it just didn't really have that much of an '80s vibe. But I want to hang that on the music. It wasn't very. I'm used to those period films where you get like all the time period music, like all the tired, overplayed songs that almost every movie has to use.
Oh yeah. Well, they did use music well in this, and it was nice that it wasn't like you said the kind of tired things like they didn't jump to pour some sugar on me or something like that
Oh yeah, but
during
that
a during.
that would have been pretty funny.
The best piece of music was oh hang on here I gotta find it it was on the wings of love while they were doing the killings like the while Michael Trent's dick was being taken off. Oh my god, the juxtaposition of that was just fantastic.
Yes, I love it. Taffy's all like, she's part scandalized, but then she's all mortified at the same time, and she's like this '50s housewife just screaming while there's blood splattering on her face. And I mean, we all know what they just did, but I think it was also his way of calling the character a dick for having given Lisa the idea that there was potential there when there really wasn't.
Oh yeah. He's quite smart for for being dead for at least a century or century and a half. Yeah, he was quite intelligent.
Yeah. Hello, Justin.
Hello. We promise not to remove any random body parts from you.
Oh gosh.
that
Yeah.
is that is one thing that surprised me about this was how like and I guess they kind of did that with the original Frankenstein too, where they only would take like the best hands or the best feet or the best
Yeah.
dick. But
Well, technically, she did get screwed by the guy that she wanted to sleep with because that was his wiener.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It looked like it was quite a nice one. So I more power to her. But I thought it was so funny that they only took the ear from Lisa's mom-in-law or her stepmom, and
Yeah.
only the hand from Doug. It's just like you couldn't. Like I suppose you don't know if Doug has a good dick, and clearly her stepmother wouldn't have had a dick. So I don't
I
know.
think they kind of went with stuff as it fell off because you didn't really they didn't show his hand at least as far as I remember. They didn't show his hand at the beginning of the film until
I
he
don't
shows her
think
the
so.
nub. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I just assumed that those pieces were already gone, like through decay or through like whatever had killed him, they had been taken off. So I don't know, maybe
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense. Some things would have fallen off or rotted off. I mean,
that is true.
um, I forget what era he was from. I mean, obviously, he was a dandy because he was very much into poetry and music.
Oh yeah, and even without a tongue, he was able to enunciate his love for her.
Yes, that was cute. And that was one of the scenes that made me laugh the most is where he grabs her and he swings her and he's got this Gone with the Wind type thing. And you think they would have kissed, but they didn't. And then this policewoman walks up and she's like, "This is a crime scene. You can't be here." And I just love how he scoops her up and throws her in the hole. That's the most, to me, that was the funniest scene.
It was very good.
And the sound effects.
Oh yeah, the and poor Taffy, like she's just out there wandering around in a t-shirt and like giant boots, just like ah.
I half want to say she had shorts on, but I'm not too sure. I mean, she kind of walked out looking like she was in an R&R film.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, either way, the trauma that she experienced, I'm sure will stay with her for a bit.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was
for sure.
it was an incredibly Burton-esque movie.
Yes, I forgot about that. And it was in my notes too, the opening credits where we get to see the dead guy and how he wound up being dead. I think he was struck by lightning if I remember, but we get to see bits of his life. And it was very Tim Burton. And then Lisa when she was in her tripping state and it goes back to black and white and she's hanging out with the headstone of dead guy. And it kind of is a throwback to that same thing. But yeah, I felt the total Tim Burton on that.
Oh yeah. And even if it's just again, I'm sure it's like a lot of other stuff in this movie. it draws from stuff in that era too. So, Tim Burton was at his height at that point. So, colors and the way things are shot and, the level, the kind of level of cartoony violence that his stuff at that point tended to have, it definitely reinforced that.
Yeah. But yeah, I love how it opened, especially the animated stuff, and then they even come back to it in the love scene, which I mean, okay, rockets flying, I don't need an explanation,
What? I don't know what you're talking about. What could that possibly mean?
right? Yeah. Let me see.
I didn't realize that the creature was so the kid, the little tiny kid from Big Daddy with Adam Sandler.
Uh-huh.
That was the creature. The guy
Really?
that played the creature. Yeah.
I'm so stuck on still thinking of him as a little boy because I didn't bother to look into his career and see what else he's done.
Oh no, I just it happened to come up in the trivia, so I looked a little bit more into it, and it's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
If I remember correctly, I think he's a twin.
Yes, yeah, they played both twins they used both twins obviously as they do in Hollywood for little kids.
Labor laws, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and oh, I'm frozen. I'll be right back.
But no, that's interesting. I half want to go and look up his other stuff, but not really. I don't notice any resemblance. Like even under all that makeup, I didn't really get a hint of like facial features or anything now that I think about it. I did want to bring up really quick. I don't know if you're able to hear me. Maybe I should just wait. Yeah, she's probably rebooting. There we go. So yeah, I did want to bring up something about the stone rubbing that's used in the film, but yeah, I want to hold off on that and wait until Triv is back. Yeah, just because I'm curious to see what her thoughts on that would be also. Okay, so anybody new coming into the chat, hello, thanks for stopping by. I'm waiting for Triv. She dropped out, so there was something I wanted to bring up, but I also wanted to see what her thoughts on that would be. So I'm just hanging tight for the meantime. But yeah, I guess in the meantime, for those of you who have seen the movie, what were your initial thoughts? Did you think the movie was bad, good, in between? For Justin, I usually have guests. I don't like just bring people up onto panel. Usually, once it's scheduled, we stick with who the guest is, and we're the ones who have the discussion. But no, I mean, any thoughts that you have, I'm all for it. Triv just came back. I see you. If I can get my phone to cooperate.
I'm so sorry. That I don't know what happened. It just did a thing. I'm so sorry.
No, no worries. Yeah.
I need a spark of life tanning bed.
Oh God, that
I
was
can just
clever, but no, I totally missed it.
Do you think if I just tossed a whole bunch of computer parts like into a like computer box and ran it through like a really hot tanning bed that it would actually do something?
I don't know. I mean, I think you're just asking for another house to be burned down.
Yeah, I suppose. And the first one is okay, you can get away with that, but the second one doesn't work very well. So
Yeah. I was going to bring up like towards the beginning of the movie because we also get reference to stone rubbing. I don't know if that was a period thing, but this is the second time I ever see stone rubbing in a film. and also a movie where the cemetery plays like a key part in the movie, but cat people. That's it. The first thing it reminded me of when I saw the stone rubbings.
Oh, absolutely. And it's cool because she hangs bits of those stone rubbings all over her room in this
Hmm.
one.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I've always thought it was cool, but I mean, even the old part of our cemetery where I'm staying, it's not that interesting. Like we don't have very intricate or anything that like, oh yeah, that would be cool to hang on a wall.
the tombs are kind of, or the people that lived back then were kind of basic.
They were pretty boring.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Boring dead people.
Yeah. Gosh darn it! It's like you poke them with a stick. Can't you be something interesting?
Like do something.
That's right. Don't just lay there. Can't the maggots and worms like get up and dance or something?
Well, that would be cool.
That would be cool.
My first thought was Spaceballs, the dancing xenomorph.
Oh, there you go. That'd be amazing. There's another. I was just thinking of other movies that feature stone rubbings. What is it? Sleepwalkers, the Stephen King
Yes.
movie. That one's got some stone rubbing in it too. So
Yeah, that's the first one that came to mind, but I can't think of any other movies that use it.
I think it's one of those kind of background things, or it's like it's an indicator of the person, but then it doesn't come on. It doesn't necessarily play into it more than that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what else this movie kind of gave me vibes of the more I think about it? The what was it? Dark Shadows, the remake with Johnny Depp.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I
Like
can
it
kind
kind of,
of see that.
yeah, it kind of plays like that, and I'm sure it's just in that kind of a gothic comedy type of thing, but definitely had that feel. Like, it's kind of, you had people that were bright colored, even like the Addams
Mhm.
Family kind of has that same vibe.
Kind of. Yeah, kind of. I think even then they still keep kind of like, well, they stick to that the primaries like the black, white, red, which I always think is an awesome combination. But
Oh yeah.
I think gray is probably the brightest color in that movie, other
Very
than
true.
Morticia's lipstick.
Well, you got to add a pop of color, and she does it right.
Yeah, yeah, she does. I love that character. But
Mm. Oh yeah.
oh yeah, and then that was the. Oh, I totally forgot to ask. What were your initial thoughts like the first time you watched this movie?
First time I watched it, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. The There were some bits like again, and I guess going back to the way that they killed one person and took a bit off.
Mm,
That kind of, I was a little bit like, I mean, it's not a bad thing by any stretch, and I understand, like, going back to Frankenstein, why it was done that way. Um, I think I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd or something like that. So I really enjoyed it. It was fun.
mhm.
But it was missing something. I don't know what that is, and I still feel like there was something not quite that lined up, but it was fun. It knew what it was trying to be. It played into it. The writer Diablo Cody is known for very quirky comedies. She did things
Oh,
like
yeah.
Juno, things like that. So there's definitely that feel.
I mean, I think they also did the first Evil Dead, the reboot.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, they wrote it.
Um, yeah. No, that makes a ton of sense given everything. And it I wish it would have come out this time of year. Like, it's not as it wasn't. I saw it when it came out, which I think was March or
Oh,
April, and
oh,
it
okay.
it lacked, like, it needed to be this time of year. I feel like
Yeah, it would have helped it. I for some reason I was thinking it was a summer movie. I could be totally
maybe it was it. I guess I could probably look it up quick.
because the
Um,
movie totally says fall. There's long sleeves. There's jumpers in the movie.
a
The
hundred percent.
yeah. I mean, it
Uh
totally says fall.
oh, agreed, 100%. I'm just trying to figure out when it came out. Need more than 2024. Oh, February. No, February. Apparently
Really?
February. Yeah, I
I
think.
don't know. I was waiting for it to hit streaming only because I didn't want to. I mean, I'm like really picky about stuff that I'll go out to the theater for. The previously the thing that I had gone out for was Boogeyman, so I saw that because it was a Stephen King story.
Oh,
And
nice.
more recently I went out for Beetlejuice. So I mean, there was at least a year gap in between, maybe 2 years.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. If there are certain things that are worth going to see in the theaters, I think you do go to see them. So,
Yeah.
but no, agreed. And Beetlejuice was a good one to see in the theaters just because of the scope and how big of a movie. Like, it's a good big screen movie.
Yeah, it is. I don't know, I guess we can get into that one like after the movie discussion because I
Yeah,
love chatting about that one also.
oh, absolutely. What were your thoughts on the way that they did the characters?
I mean, I thought they were interesting. I mean, especially the whole bit with Taffy, who she's like the popular cheerleader type. You wouldn't think that she would have given Lisa the time of day, but here she is with her with her beauty pageant thing, and she since she won, and she's like, "Well, you're in need, and I'm going to help you."
Uh, she was an interesting character to me because on one hand she tried to be super helpful and clearly she loved her sister, but then there were
Yeah.
like those backhanded compliments. Like, okay, was that meant to be like kind of a dig, or was that her just thinking she was saying something helpful and it turned out that it wasn't?
I don't know. I mean, she's not the traditional dingy airhead like the stereotypical type that you see as a cheerleader, but she isn't like a bookworm either, which would have been nice too.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about some of the some of the like the script was super smart, and Diablo Cody does write very quirky, fun, like double not a double entendre in a sexual way, but just like they have multiple meanings or like things are easily misinterpreted. At one point she's trying to figure out from Lisa like what her type is, and she says, "Oh, is he more of a basketball bod or football bod?" And she goes, "He doesn't
Yes.
play sports, he's cerebral." And she goes, "He's in a wheelchair?"
Yeah. Let me see. Justin was saying, just really quick. Justin was saying how could he possibly become a guest on the show? If you have Instagram or Twitter, just message me and we can chat about that. But yeah, I mean, Taffy definitely is the airhead type, but she's I don't know. There's something different about her. Like she actually is a good person. She's not like this mean spirited dope, I guess.
Oh yeah. And it's very different from the way you would portray them in the 80s. One of the things she says, and I cracked up at this, and I probably shouldn't, but it's hilarious to me. She like when they're trying to describe uh uh Lisa's mom-in-law being like trying to give a description of her to the police. She was wearing a
Oh,
cross
the
pendant and
Labrador line.
that was good. And she's wearing a cross pendant and she's wearing Elizabeth Taylor White Diamonds perfume. And then you hear don't hear the cop. Yeah, she's a bitch.
She really was. Like she was very close-minded towards Lisa.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, "Well, you're a head case because you saw your mom die and you're acting out and you're breaking all of my porcelain dolls and all this other nonsense." And it's kind of like it's not a vendetta, dude.
No, no, absolutely not. But she just comes off like she's got that 80s thing where she like floats into a room and makes everyone's life better because she's an angel.
Oh no. Oh, and her outfits were the worst, especially with those shoulder pads.
Oh man. Yeah, they were a thing. On the subject of outfits, I love how Taffy and Lisa kind of change places. Like, Taffy is like super cute
Yes.
and or the cheerleader outfits, and then she ends up in very basic sweats, and you've
Yeah,
got
they did.
yeah, 100% it kind of matches her mood, and they did a nice job with that. But then you got Lisa who's very basic and then all of a sudden works her way up to, lace and, goth and all the rest.
Well, actually, I wanted to give Dead Guy credit for that. Like, he showed up, and all of a sudden, it's like he was a confidence boost. He was picking out an outfit for her. And at first, she's like, "I'm not going to wear that. That's a skeezer outfit." And then after a while, that's all she wears.
Yep.
We even have a guy making a comment dress code violation.
Closed-minded high schoolers, I tell you what.
I know, it's like you would think a teenage boy would be all for it. They're so hormonal, and I mean, they would hump a fire hydrant if they could.
They would, but they're also about passing judgment. I mean, their sense of style is so perfect.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah, that any of their early interactions are so fun. Like when he cries and she's like, "Oh my god, it's like a hot bathroom at a county fair or a
Yes,
carnival."
I wrote it down. I loved that line. It's like a hot toilet at a carnival.
I kind of want to use that on somebody, but I'm not sure how you use that without really being insulting.
Yeah, it would be kind of tough.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's kind of like maybe a picnic day or something, like one of those events where you're out in the sun all day or at a theme park.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, the dialogue, like there's a lot of good in this movie. Like it's got a lot of good elements. Like the kind of the quirky back and forth dialogue is great. Um there's a one scene where she comes out to breakfast and her dad's like she's holding a bottle of something and her dad says, "Is that
Oh,
sherry?" And she's like, "No, it's
it's
Lisa."
Lisa. And Taffy's like, "Did you make a joke?"
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. And he's like, "Not a very good one, but it's a joke."
Yes. Oh, and what is it? She says all the high school guys are heading over to Boner Town and they don't even know it. And the dad's like, "Yeah," and he's not even paying attention.
He is almost a and I guess you get that in a lot of the 80s movies. Like he is kind of a non-entity. Like he's there, but he's not really there.
Yeah, the parents were more like a background thing. Like kids were always like sneaking out of the house, going to parties, or you even saw that in Elm Street. Like the kids are, like sneaking and having a sleepover, but the parents are very absent. Like Nancy's mom is an alcoholic who likes to fool around,
Yeah.
and she's never in her daughter's life.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I think too, there's a lot of like inspiration. I mean, both like obvious and not so obvious. There's so many movies that they kind of draw from for this.
Hmm.
Like even little things where it's like on the TV they had Mission to the Moon, or was it Mission to the Moon? First Voyage to the Moon or something, which is one of the
Yeah.
first movies to ever be seen. And then was it Day of the Dead, I think, was on the TV at one point.
Yes, Bub, and I
Yep.
loved that because it's about what do you call it? A self-aware zombie.
I was trying to think of something funny that you could combine self-aware and zombie, but it doesn't really work.
But it works because this guy is very self-aware. I mean, and he makes those same gruntings because he doesn't have a tongue. I mean, either of them can't talk, but they still communicate.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they did a nice job with that, like the kind of they and the nice thing is like they didn't try to get too cerebral with the way they didn't let it get the whole story get bogged down in, oh well, how is he alive, how is he moving, how is sewing his hand back on going to work. It was simple, straightforward, a fun take on the Frankenstein story. They didn't think about it too much. It's like, okay, she's a seamstress, so she can
It makes
just
sense.
exactly, it works within the context of what the story they're trying to tell, but it's something that hasn't been done before.
And that's another thing about 80s cinema. They didn't go out of their way to over-explain things, whereas in the early 2000s, they were stuck on origin stories like Leatherface and trying to explain this and trying to explain that, and it's like, stop it! It's just a movie.
Right.
Let me enjoy it.
Right. It's kind of like midichlorians with force users. It doesn't add anything to the story to know where that came from, at least in my mind, but like it almost takes away from it because you're adding that scientific value to it.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, we really don't need it. The first time I watched it, I was kind of like, okay, she's not attaching tendons, she's not attaching nerves. How is the bone from the hand going to work?
Well, lightning
And
is all
but
powerful.
yeah, I mean, I didn't give it that much thought, but that was the first thing that came to mind, and then I'm like, screw it.
Exactly. And if it were a movie that were focused on like the creation of a human being, there is some like you can have some very interesting conversations because even back when these movies were made in the 40s and 50s or 30s, 40s and 50s, there was
Hmm.
talk of how to reattach those things. And
Yeah,
obviously it's something that they do, but it would bog down this kind of movie.
it would, especially because, and I guess that goes back to the Tim Burton-esque comment that you made earlier is it has all this dark and dreariness, but it isn't heavy. Like it still has this happy-go-lucky feel about it.
Oh yeah, it's dark, but it kind of lives in that dark humor world, but it's not dark humor in the traditional sense.
Hmm.
I guess it's like what you say. It's a horror comedy, and it's a relatively successful one.
Yeah, I mean, they very easily could have gone slapstick, and I'm glad they didn't because I think it would have cheapened the film. But I mean, I
Right.
like the way it was handled.
I do too. It was just I don't think you could walk away from this and not. I mean, obviously there are people that did because it's not the most well received movie in the world. But I think that if you're in the place, if you're gonna go search this out, you're gonna be the kind that kind of knows what you're getting into with it.
Yeah,
So it is a movie that I think you'd have a hard time walking away from and not having a smile on your face because it does have so much just fun stuff.
it does, but I will admit I kind of have the kind of like Twilight itis with this film. I wanted to see her kiss the zombie at least once.
That's okay. Well, even at one point, the Violent Femmes shirt that he had on that she first gave to him, it kind of the
Hmm.
font was almost Twilight.
Hmm. I didn't catch that.
Maybe that was just me, but like that aspect of it, like I saw that and it's like, is he wearing a Twilight shirt? It's like, no, wait, it's Violent Femmes or Violent Femmes. But yeah, it kind of had those colors, and I guess maybe my brain just went, ooh, thing. There's a thing I need to look at, like kind of like a sparkly thing, but.
Hmm. No, I get it. Like something that just catches your attention, and then it's kind of like, well, does this mean something? I'm like, maybe I should look into it. Maybe it's
Right.
just from the movie, whatever.
I think that she was just at that moment in time. He wasn't her Barbie, but he was kind of her Barbie. She's like, well, let's get you into something that fits the era.
Oh, not even that. And you reminded me, that's also in my notes, is you had the 80s dress up montage. Like it wasn't all cute and quirky the way they do it, but it was still there. It was subtle, it was downplayed, but it was basically a getting dressed montage.
Oh, but it was hilarious. I loved it. Like when when she put him in the pink robe and she's like, oh, that's awesome, and he's like,
Yeah, she's like, I love it. And he's like, no, hell no.
I will not walk around this house dressed like this.
Yeah, but he still wears her nightgowns though. That's the funny part.
Well, it's a little more understated, more of the time, 50,
It is.
50s pink, robes and feathers are so 50s.
They can be. Um and it reminds me like totally not related other than he's wearing a nightgown, but the the scene where he discovers her personal massager in the closet.
Oh my god. Nothing like a Hitachi power wand to make your evening, I suppose.
And she's like, the same kind of lie a kid would tell their parent. It's a back massager. And but I can appreciate because she feels like she can be herself around him. Like she's the most open. People even comment like this is the most, like she comments, this is the most I've ever talked.
Yeah.
Um and he's basically her, I don't want to say pet zombie, but he's like her gal pal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the way she treats him too, up until, he cuts off another man's dick.
Well, before then actually, because we go back to the personal massager scene and she's like, well, people use these things in other places, and you later hear her yell, oh god. I'm like, it's understood what happened there. And I'm like, she's very forward with him.
She's very much that way. And I would almost, because she doesn't fear, I don't know. Like I agree with you. I don't know that she quite got how he felt a little bit. Exactly, personal massager.
Yes. It's YouTube. You never know what they're going to get you for.
Oh, that's for sure. But yeah, one thing about it, every toolkit should come with a personal massager, I think.
Yes.
Like roadside kit, personal massager.
Well, you have to relieve some stress, especially while you're stranded.
Absolutely. It should be the first thing that you're doing, get yourself back to a state of mind that works and go from there. So,
What do you call it? Post nut clarity.
very true. Post-nut clarity. That way you can work on the nuts on your vehicle and change your tire.
It makes total sense. It's very logical.
It is. It very much is. More people need to embrace this.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there are scientific studies out there on this. The benefits of post-nut clarity.
Yes.
How you can apply it to everyday life.
Exactly. Stress out about an upcoming business meeting? Have one
Rub
in your
out a quick
briefcase.
one in the bathroom.
Nervous for a test? Just slip one up inside. You're good to go.
Oh gosh.
I'm sorry. Oh man.
So the mechanic shows up.
Where do you even
Oh yes. And Jen's not even here, Marty.
Oh God. We're not talking about those things specifically. We're just talking about personal massagers. Where's your mind?
Yeah. I mean, everybody needs a back rub every now and again.
Exactly. I mean, any massager can work anywhere, really. I mean, it's.
I mean, even non-personal massagers work.
Yeah.
Exactly. You just have to be creative.
Yes, absolutely. Hell, a tree works if you implement it correctly.
That is true. Oh, and it has those nice ridges on it too.
Absolutely. It's perfect. Make sure that you're by yourself, but I mean, it worked for, what was it? Oh God, what was her name? She was in an SNL sketch. She made out with trees in her movie. Mary Catherine Gallagher.
Molly Shannon.
Molly Shannon, yeah.
Superstar.
Absolutely.
And I still haven't seen that movie, but my first thought was, if you've ever seen The Secretary, right after she and Maggie Gyllenhaal and James Spader get married, and he has her tied up against a tree.
There you go. I think that would work. Well, let's see. Hey, if you open the stream and the first words you hear aren't post-nut clarity, that's when you know you're in trouble.
It's going to be a boring stream.
Absolutely. If you don't hear that, you should probably. I'm gonna have to start every live stream I do now by just saying post-nut clarity.
Yeah, instead of saying we are live, post-nut clarity, let's go.
Yep, exactly. I'm having post-nut clarity. We're ready to roll.
I mean, okay, here's some creativity. Forklift certified. I think that's asking for some trouble. I'm like, that's one of those Echo in the Cave moments.
You know what? I think if you're forklift certified, you can probably run a personal massager.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially a Hitachi power wand. Because that's heavy duty.
No, I think what we need are remote controlled personal massagers.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, they've got ones you can control with your phone.
Well, true, but there's always just that retro.
No, that's true. That is true. As long as, yeah, the remote control is probably the best way to go. As long as you don't lose the remote control and then someone else finds it. And
if you could literally program your ride, but have it so detailed to where you just kind of forget what's happening here, what's happening there. You don't know what to expect, and it's kind of like, who needs a man? I'm ready to have some chocolate after this.
Absolutely. Well, chocolate is the result of post-nut clarity.
It can be. Hopefully it isn't chocolate colored.
No, that wouldn't be so good. Do not have chocolate
gynecologist
covered.
visit.
Oh yeah. Oh God, that'd be a hell of a story. Not that they haven't heard it before, but still.
Yeah.
Where have we gone? We got forklift certified personal massagers. Marty is freaking out because
Jen isn't here and look at the conversation. No, I mean if Jen was here, she would definitely take it a whole new level.
Definitely. That's not even a question. and I'd probably egg her on. So
I do too. Like I generally tend to misbehave the most when I'm around Jen.
yeah, she has an influence, but I'm not going to say it's a bad influence.
No, I don't mean it in a bad way at
No,
all.
no, no. I know you don't. I know you don't. But
Like I know a stream she did with Marty was on what was it? The Omen 4, the one that was a TV movie. I can't remember. It was one of those, the last Omen basically that they did before it got rebooted. But um, for some reason we were talking about snakes and snake revivals, which there is a scene in the movie, and then all of a sudden snake boobs comes into the conversation, and I'm like, where in the world did this come from?
it has to. It absolutely has to come into conversation.
Yeah, but I mean, not in any other live stream, only Jen.
Absolutely. But
But
that's what makes them special.
I love her live streams. They're so much fun.
Oh, they're incredible. Like Marty and Jen are awesome.
They are. I mean, I try to get to their live streams every chance I can, but yeah, I mean, sometimes you guys are just a little too active for me.
That's what makes them that's what makes them even better.
But yeah, just wrapping back around really quick. I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's
Probably.
okay, let's get back on topic, but sort of.
Yes, exactly. I'm trying to think. The whole seamstress thing, and I know I mentioned it already, but I love the aspect that they make her a seamstress or like someone that does alterations. Like
Hmm.
just the I don't know the thought process to take that and then combine it with like I'm sure there were probably stories of hot or of tanning beds that screwed up or that
Yeah,
were that were faulty like that,
yeah.
and to take those two, I don't know, they're just such different ideas and pop them together. I know it's not like James Cameron levels of creative, but I just it's such a quirky, cool way to do it, and it's such a neat reimagining.
Hmm. Um, I half want to say it's a they're still going off of the Frankenstein reference. Like using lightning to bring dead bodies back to life. I think that's how he died. That's how he came back. But she's using that concept, and he's just gradually coming back into getting his parts working, especially after she has sewn something new back on.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I just the fact that they go that route because how else you can't plan on someone to be struck by lightning multiple times to bring back all the different pieces.
No. But I did kind of want to half swing back to the personal massager thing. I know we said we were going to
Oh
move on,
no, that's okay. Have at it.
but I actually consider that their first like love scene, like
Oh,
not before
100%.
Love and Rockets by being, but
No, it totally was.
I mean they're sitting there having this post coitus conversation, and they're having a drink. And I mean, even to further emphasize it, like his nightgown is unbuttoned. Like he has you see his chest, and it's kind of like, yeah, I know what you're implying here, but we really didn't need it.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, you didn't see a lady's, if you saw a lady's ankles, it was quite provocative. So I would imagine that a
Yes,
man showing that much of his chest, I mean, grr.
and I can at least appreciate the fact that he's not like Pierce Brosnan. He doesn't look like you need to vacuum him.
No, you absolutely don't. He's got a nice head of hair, and it stops there.
Yes, exactly. I don't like furry people.
Fair. That's fair.
I don't have anything against furries. It's just people with too much body hair.
I'm sure it's not easy for them either if you're walking around and you've got a fur sweater underneath your shirt.
Oh, I never thought about that. I was thinking you're in the shower and you're like shampooing or rubbing soap onto your chest, and then all of a sudden your chest hairs are tangled.
No, yeah, that wouldn't be so good. That would be a hell of a thing to comb out.
Yeah,
But you know what helps with that kind of stress?
post nut clarity.
I was going to say personal massager, but also yes, personal clarity. That's why they're waterproof, right? Like you wouldn't want to
It's
use
for a
this
reason.
Hitachi power wand in the shower, but you could probably find one that you could use in the shower.
But shower makes the best sense because you get cleanup at the same time. You don't have to deal with all this sloppy mess afterward.
Yeah, that's very true. I like the concept. We need to make a personal massage massager shower time a thing. Not that it's not, but more publicly
But
okay.
we need a national day for it. Personal massage in the shower day.
I guarantee.
Oh, I'm
I
calling into work for this one.
okay, I'm looking that up because, like, so that generally speaking, there is a day for everything.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, personal. Oh, shoot, hang on here. Personal massager.
Oh, someone was saying that this movie reminds them of My Boyfriend's Back. I'm like, totally.
Oh yeah. Okay, so there's not a personal massager shower day, unfortunately, but it's
There
something that we
should be
should work
one.
on.
Where do
Yes.
you submit petitions for this stuff? I know a lot of women that would vote for it.
Oh, 100%. Well, you know,
And you
there's
have
mental
to.
health days, so why can't there be personal
Why can't
massager
it?
shower days?
It's part of mental health.
Oh yeah, but it needs its own subsection, I think.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, I would still say it's part of mental health. I mean, how can you not feel great after something like that?
Yeah, no, I would agree. How did this start off? Lisa Frankenstein and end up on personal massager shower day.
I'm totally going to have to clip this stream. This is awesome.
Oh man, Kara, you're so much fun to do this with.
I love the way we bounce off of each other, and I have that with Sasha also. We both bounce off of each other really well. I'm kind of thinking, what would it be like if the three of us got together on stream?
I'm game to try it if you want to.
Yeah, for sure.
Use whatever movie as a basis, and then just first 5 minutes talk that, and then just go off in random directions.
I think this needs to become an us thing. Eventually, personal massager has to come up in every film discussion from now on.
Oh, 100%. Well, I mean, like you said, if you want to start every single live stream with post-nut clarity, I think that's a good starting place.
Yeah. Granted, the audience wouldn't know, but
yeah, but I think if you've got regulars that show up often enough, they'll inform everybody else.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm surprised Slipknot fan isn't here. He's actually one of the regulars. I'm kind of curious to see what his thoughts on this would have been.
On post-nut clarity or on Lisa Frankenstein?
Post-nut clarity. Post-nut Frankenstein.
Yeah, there you go. That's the follow-up to Lisa Frankenstein. The question is, will Frankenstein need to go off, or the creature need to go off and find a set of nuts?
Probably.
Yeah.
Unless we just do the role reversal thing, which I'm not a fan of, but if we have a female creature.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if you're going to get better than Bride, though. Or Weird Science.
Frankenhooker.
Yeah, oh, Frankenhooker was amazing. How did I forget about that? Damn it.
I love that one, especially once the women start exploding in the hotel room.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's so well done. And I don't think it gets quite the love it deserves.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Back to close-minded. The stepmother really was. Okay, we're talking about men without penises, but she's a total dick.
Oh, no doubt. She was the biggest dick of all of them. And such a, again, back to the 80s, she kind of personified that 80s stepmom vibe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of like they're the villain, they're the bad guy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's not even a question. I mean, you look at again, Beetlejuice, like, and not to say that I can't think of her name. Lydia's stepmom in Beetlejuice.
Delia?
Delia. Like, she kind of had that kind of, not in the same way as this. She wasn't anywhere near as like outrightly ruthless, but she definitely had that. Well, I married your father, and I'm the one he likes to go bouncy with the personal massager, and go off, child, get away,
ride the wave.
Exactly. Oh, that was a really interesting thing. Like, and it was a completely random little side thing, but it was so interesting that they brought in, well, I have to go change my pad. It's like, oh, okay, just randomly. Like, I appreciate it. She, it goes to show the level of comfort she had with the creature. Yes. But it's like, oh, that was an interesting line. Like,
I think it's the fact that he was, and I guess by default he was more of a listener, but he didn't come off as judgmental either. He never gave her certain looks or made gestures like, don't go there.
Right, exactly. And half
Like
the stuff he
he was
probably was
game.
still learning. Yeah, with 100%. Well, sort of dead. Not all the way dead. He has not joined the choir invisible. He is not an ex-parrot.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much all there was to the mom. She was mostly a throwaway character. Like she's there for us to hate her and then she's gone. So it justifies her being killed.
But you think about it, like, because she had the worm in her, what was it, cottage cheese and peaches or
I think it
something?
was peaches and cream.
Something like that. I'm not
But
100%.
he hawks a worm into her breakfast.
Yes, but wouldn't that be extra protein? Like if you're on a very or a very diet based like food plan, wouldn't like the extra protein given to you by a worm be a good thing?
Yeah, but I mean, unless you actually consent to it, it's odd having this like slimy, slithery thing in your mouth.
Fair point. That is fair. And I'm sorry, my brain went back to personal massagers again there.
No, I did that on purpose.
No, that is true. Consent when with anything slimy in your mouth is probably a good thing. If you learn nothing else from this stream, take that with you as you go.
Yeah.
Do you
Oh
think she
yeah.
had post nut clarity after?
Personal massager. Yes, it's like it's the new 42.
Oh, 100%. Not even a question. They're gonna have to rewrite Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and just change out that. Um, but I wonder, do you think the stepmom had post nut clarity after sucking on that worm?
I don't think so. I mean, she was still in bitch mode, like high
Yeah.
riding bitch mode. Like she even waits for Lisa to come back, and then she accuses her. You did something to my breakfast stuff. I'm like, do you actually prepare your breakfast and leave them in the fridge the night before? Like, there's no way she could have messed with that.
Right. And what worm is gonna stick in whatever cream or cottage cheese or
No,
whatever it was?
it would have drowned by then.
Yeah, 100%. She just wanted to blame her to blame her.
Pretty much.
It's such a fun, weird little movie.
It is, but oh, and that reminds me, speaking of weird, that walk that she does with her hands on her hips.
Oh yeah.
And then she swings her legs outwardly also, kind of like she's throwing her feet outward at an angle.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Like, I don't know if that would have been like, because there's so much that kind of takes from the 80s here. I don't know if maybe that was a walk that was maybe shown, like a certain kind of character had that kind of walk.
I want to say it's unique to this film, but until the interrogation scene at the school, I didn't notice her walk until then.
I'm not
And
sure.
then going back and watching it the second time, I'm like, I really didn't notice it that much the second time. I caught it a couple of times before that scene, but it to me it was one of those things. It's so subtle. I didn't think about it when it happened.
Right. Well, some of that stuff does hit you in retrospect as well. So
It hits you in post.
You don't have to say anything more. It hits you in post. Leave it there.
Yeah. Oh, and I did forget to mention that. Oh, it's one of the things I wrote in my notes. Speaking of how they have all these subtle '80s references, the Patrick Nagel cutout or standee that they had at the dry cleaners, what's right behind her.
Yeah.
That was a very '80s popular artist.
Oh yeah.
He even did one of the covers for Duran Duran.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
Rio.
Nice. Yeah, and I think across the way when they did the reverse shot of the counter with people that were standing there, like there was someone that kind of looked like Elvira.
I don't remember.
She kind of had the big hair and kind of the way her silhouette went with her boobs and stuff kind of looked like Elvira. Not 100%, but gave the indicator of that.
I didn't catch that. It's not ringing a bell.
Oh no, that's okay. The party was interesting too, like just that whole part. I thought they did a nice job with kind of recreating an 80s party and kind of playing all that and
I mean, it was a pretty tame party though. Like we didn't see anybody do any keg stands. We didn't see anybody puking on the front lawn.
Now she had a post puke or post She didn't have a post-nut clarity moment. That's why she had to puke.
She had to let something out.
That's true.
I mean,
Yep.
especially with that lech that was leading her into a bedroom, but she was
Oof.
too out of it to know, which is totally uncalled for. But apparently, that's the only way a nerd's ever going to get laid. Apparently,
Well, that level of nerd, at least.
yeah, the
I was,
sleazy nerd.
yeah, 100%. I was trying to figure out, like, when we first meet her, like, what her character is, because, and I guess they didn't like you said with Taffy, they really didn't break down the characters into like traditional stereotypes, really.
Mm-mm.
I wonder what Lisa was kind of supposed to be. Obviously, she was new to school, and maybe that was enough of a like a label for her. But like, because she really didn't come off as nerd or goth or any of those things,
She was
really.
just kind of more like an outsider, like not a normie, not a goth, just something in between.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That is true. I mean, even the Michael Trent guy, like he kind of looked like he should have been like head basketball or head football player, but he was like the
He
guy
was
that
he was
ran the
paralyzed.
yeah. He was cerebral, man. Cerebral. Total
Which
wheelchair.
I'm all for that kind of guy. I mean, if I can't talk to you for hours on end about something other than TV shows or Marvel Universe, I'm like, what is there?
Exactly. 100% there. The way to really tell if you're into him or not is if it's, you can have a good personal massager moment.
Exactly, and especially if he's down for it. Like, these things are used in other parts. Oh God.
You can tell a lot about a person by where they stick that vibrator next.
No kidding.
Sorry,
Or
personal massager next.
yeah, or non-massaging objects, like
Yes.
an odd one that I heard of, which totally bewilders me, is the toothbrush.
Oh God,
That would hurt.
why would you? I know everybody has different things, but why a toothbrush? That's about like the people that are, like you always see the joke about like a cucumber.
Yeah,
I don't know. It seems
I
like
mean, but I
seems like.
mean,
Go ahead. Sorry.
no. I was saying, sorry. I'll let you go.
Oh no, I'm just gonna say it seems like you're wasting a perfectly good cucumber.
Pretty much. Well, no, you can still peel the skin off.
True. Maybe it's the bananas you want to avoid with that because they bruise easy.
Well, I think as long as you take that hard nub at the tip of it off, you're okay.
True.
Just the tip. Everything else is fine.
Exactly. Man, I didn't realize Lisa Frankenstein was such a sexual movie.
It's an adult film.
Oh, 100%. Not snuff, but just adult.
Yeah, I mean it, and that's the intention in my mind. I'm like, it wasn't really meant for kids, maybe
Oh
tweens.
no. I mean, it was PG-13. I mean, what are ratings anymore to some extent? Like, unless you've got a parent watching close, a PG-13 movie is going to be watched by just as many 10-year-olds as it is 30-year-olds,
But the jokes are vague enough to where they'll go over a 10-year-old's head and it doesn't cause any sort of distress.
I don't know,
Like,
that whole last bit where the guy's dick gets cut off, like some kid's going to go, "Dad, what the hell happened? What did
yeah, he's probably not going to get that. He'll probably get it like later in junior high or middle school years, assuming it's one of the films that they regularly watch.
Yeah, and yeah, this film has a very, I would say, has a very specific like base of people that are going to watch it or rewatch it.
Mm-hmm. But even then, like Lisa, she goes from, I tell you, the dead guy gave her all this. He was basically a confidence boost and her confidant,
Oh yeah,
but not even realizing like the perfect guy was in front of her the entire time while she was looking at this cerebral guy who turned out to be a total jerk.
absolutely. He's a chameleon.
But even Taffy at the end, she's like, well, guys only talk to me for one reason. And that's okay then, because you knew your sister liked him.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose if you're in the middle of a grief that great over your, mom's death or your mom's probable death, I don't know.
I mean,
Judgment can be weird, I suppose.
she got a sympathy boning.
Yes, she did. She got a Yeah, but the problem there is she didn't get post-nut clarity because he was a
No.
dick. Well, he didn't have a
And then
dick,
he
I guess.
lost it.
Yeah, exactly. She didn't have it because he lost his.
Yeah, I mean it's I mean I'm sure every girl likes the idea of a guy losing it over her, just not in that way.
If that nothing else sums up the scene, it's that. That's incredible.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, I totally forgot another one of my scenes. Like this one had to grow on me. Like I loved this scene, like one of my favorite scenes, and I should probably ask you first because I already mentioned my favorite scene early on where the cop gets thrown into the hole. Did you have any favorite scenes?
I enjoyed a good chunk of it. I think the first time um what like the whole soap opera scene where like they kill the stepmom and then he chops off the ear and he gives it to her and she goes, "No, I couldn't possibly." Like that whole bit was
Yeah,
great.
the whole soap opera scene. That
Yeah.
one was good.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, I mean, I'm like, I see what you did there. I don't watch soap operas, but I have family members that do, and I'm like, yeah, I know where that's from.
Well, and I think if you grew up in a soap opera era, even if you don't know exactly what they're doing, that dramatic you could ascribe that dramatic kind of reaction to that without really even knowing. So,
Mm-hmm. But I was going to say the kind of getting back to the whole '80s references, the scene where he gets his hand back and he starts playing Journey, and she when you can tell she's about to start singing. My first time watch, my first reaction was I put my head down, covered my eyes, and I'm like, "Don't do it, dude." And then she starts singing awkwardly, and I'm kind of like, don't do it. But then she gets her confidence, and then it becomes this really cute scene.
it is. It's very cute. Well, and to see him kind of transition from like kind of those beautiful old school things to something that's more modern that she can
Hmm.
connect with.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's something they both connected on.
Oh, 100%. That's yeah, absolutely the case. And again, the obviously the short the scenes are played short and they're pretty straightforward as to what they're trying to convey. But they did a really nice job with like even though he doesn't say a word, he
Hmm.
conveys stuff really well
He does.
visually. And in the wrong hands, the wrong actor, that would have failed.
It would. I think a lot of it was body language. The even the tone of the grunts would change.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say there wasn't much facial expression though, but I could be wrong.
He had moments where he did good. Although he was wearing, I mean, he definitely had prosthetics. I couldn't tell you how much though,
Yeah,
but
especially buried under all that makeup.
yeah, yeah.
Let's see. I think I've pretty much gone through all of my notes. I'm trying to see if I missed anything.
I was trying to think too. The kind of the girl that tattles on her for her taking Doug out to the cemetery. That was
Hmm.
an interesting little. I mean, I don't that whole kind of back and forth and the reactions were uniformly silly
Hmm.
in a good way.
But I like how she makes that line where she's like, a lot of girls look like me, and you look at the girl sitting next to her, and it's like, yeah, they do look similar.
Absolutely.
And then she tries to play it off like, no, we don't.
It's like
She's got PCP in her pocket.
Let's see. I don't know. As far as obviously, again, this is kind of built around 80s nostalgia, but I don't know. This kind of felt like it kind of spoke to, I don't know, like I could see a lot of myself in Lisa, just as far as like there are those things that you like and you want to find and you don't necessarily like. It kind of speaks to you. Maybe
Hmm.
that's just kind of I don't know. They did a nice job relating back to kind of what would be the fan base for this.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the film, especially the fact that they have that retro thing going, and the fact that the girl, she's not a normie, which I can relate to. I mean, I've never been a normie, but I like how even she, like her clothes, like in that opening scene, like she goes from wearing kind of like maybe medium application of makeup, and she's wearing natural colors. She's wearing brown, and she goes in that, I think, that jumper outfit to the party. And then she starts hanging around dead guy, and her makeup becomes heavier.
Mhm.
Her clothes becomes more skimpy.
Yep. She feels like you say, she gained more confidence because clearly she didn't really have that before.
Yeah, she really did. But I also consider her more extroverted than I am.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, even before she met the dead guy, she wasn't afraid to kind of say, "Hey," she wasn't scared to speak her mind.
Hmm. And even the stepmom touches on it, where she's recreating the scene of the crime. I'm like, that's pretty much the night that dead guy showed up. I'm like, she's at home alone. He breaks into the house. She's running away. But that was the only different thing is like she eventually calms down. She has that post nut clarity. She talks to him.
Oh, that's kind of neat. This was, and I didn't realize this. The person that directed it was the daughter of Robin Williams. Her name's Zelda.
Really?
Yeah,
Elda or Zelda?
Zelda with a Z.
Okay, yeah, I heard it wrong. Zelda.
No, and I may not have spoken it clearly either, but that's pretty neat.
No, I didn't know that. That's cool. I
Let's
would
see.
totally look up more of her stuff just because of who her dad was.
Absolutely. Well, this was her debut film, so I don't know
Oh,
if,
okay.
or sorry, directorial debut. So she might have done other stuff, but this was her first directorial thing.
Well, she might have
Um,
done something in between by now.
yeah. Oh, 100%. I'm just looking here through the trivia. She exclaims, "Damn it, Janet!" at one point. I think Janet
Yes,
was the
I
mom
love
and or
that.
the yeah,
My first thought was Rocky Horror.
and that's exactly what it was pulling from. Um, the personal massager came from her aunt Shelley, as in Mary
Hmm.
Shelley,
Oh,
to
okay.
help change her disposition.
Yes. I mean, even from the beginning, she didn't seem like she was a moody person. So, I mean, maybe
Absolutely,
she's selling for the aunt's taste.
very very true. Let's see. Yeah, there's really not a whole lot. Like, there's other stuff, but none of it's really like anything of note. It took place in '89. They,
Yeah.
the very end when they're at Lisa's grave, they're either at Lisa's grave or her stepmom's grave, but Taffy and the dad say, "Okay, well, bye, honey. Okay, hon, let's go to Fuddruckers."
Yeah, and I'm like, that was random. Not just that, but I'm like, it's one of my least favorite restaurants. I actually call it Rudfuckers.
That's a good name for it. I've never eaten at one, but I've been past several.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like one of those build your own burger type things.
Ah, okay, cool. Or not cool, or clearly they need some post nut clarity or something.
I would totally post nut in those burgers.
Okay, get that on a T-shirt with your like. I don't even know what you do with that, but I don't know. Is that a good thing or a bad thing that you would post nut in the burgers?
Well, I would do it out of spite.
Oh, okay, good to know. That would definitely improve their. I think they all went under, or maybe there's like a couple left. Maybe that would improve their fortunes, make them better burgers.
I don't know. It might make them taste better. Or, the curiosity, people would be like, well, what is it about this? I'm like, I'm going to have to check that out.
Exactly. The secret sauce is something very special. Unfortunately, it does not come with a personal massager.
It's one of those things you'll get in post.
Yep.
Oh, one of the things that confused me about the film was like that tanning bed suicide, which totally sounds like it should be an 80s band.
Oh my god, yeah.
But okay, so she goes in there to commit suicide, but then, and we see the whole garage. It burns down, and the whole thing goes up in flames. And my first thought was, okay, so how did she fake her death? Because obviously there had to have been some body somewhere in order to place in Lisa's grave. And how did she survive that?
I to this point don't know. I know that they were obviously going for kind of Bride of Frankenstein level stuff there,
Yes.
but I I don't know what the thought process was behind that, like where that was going to, because it would have killed her, and then it also would have brought her back to life because of the lightning.
Yeah.
Unless they had witnesses that saw them go into the shed, and maybe that was they're like they buried an empty grave or whatever, or there
Maybe.
was
I mean,
ashes.
maybe there was nothing to bury. Yeah.
Yeah, or there was maybe just like, oh, well, these are, she's been, burnt to a crisp. Here's ashes. Part of it is, the desk, and part of it's probably her.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's the only confusing part. I mean, other than that, I I had fun with the film. I mean, I didn't think there were any slow points to where, man, it's dragging, or oh, that joke didn't quite work.
Right. It was a solid front to back thing, and that anything that's written by Diablo Cody, in my experience, and I haven't seen all of her stuff, but it does tend to be, it's a solid package.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, and like you said, it does have rewatchability. I rewatched it. Well, I watched it the first time last week, and then I rewatched it this afternoon just to be fresh for
Hmm.
the stream. But yeah, it's not like I was watching it and on some rewatches, maybe it's a me thing, but on some rewatches, I'm like, okay, I'm bored. I saw all of this.
Right.
I'm rewatching it too soon. I'm like, no, I still had fun. I still laughed at the one scene that I thought was hilarious.
I would agree. And I certainly found new stuff, and maybe because like I had seen it in theaters, and then you watch it with captions on, so some of the
Hmm.
things that you might have missed or that you
Yeah.
misinterpreted, you kind of see, like, and it's like, oh God, that's hilarious, or oh, that
Yeah.
makes more sense now, or whatever.
Hmm. But yeah, it was a fun movie. I mean, I can't think of other than I know someone in the chat mentioned My Boyfriend's Back, which yeah, it's pretty similar. I even thought that myself, but I can't think of any other films that would have been similar or in feel to this one.
Right. I mean, there's a lot that you could probably draw variation or draw connections to generally, but this concept specifically is something relatively unique. I would agree. Excuse me.
Hiccups.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I can't really think of anything else.
Same. Offhand, I think we kind of covered all the stuff. The soundtrack, like you mentioned, it didn't go the route of, the same old, which was nice.
Hmm.
There were some unique songs, which is always a good thing. Makeup was pretty solid. Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, well, absolutely. Hogan,
Yeah.
did you decide upon that through post nut clarity?
Well, this is definitely the post nut clarity stream. So if
Absolutely.
if you guys are gonna do it, right now is the time to do it.
Exactly. Whack it like there's no tomorrow. As long as you're someplace where you can whack it like there's no tomorrow. Otherwise, when you get the chance to, whack it like there's no tomorrow.
I don't know. Then you have to deal with chafing.
Yeah. Make sure to use lotion or lube or something.
Or oh gosh, the P Diddy thing, baby oil.
Oh God. Oh, well, it's amazing that there's still any baby oil out here, considering how much he went through.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I would 100% agree. I think we've covered all the important topics, though. The world can now be at peace because we've taken care of them.
Yeah, unless you wanted to go into Beetlejuice, or not really.
If you want to, we can. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I've got anything insightful to say on it, but yeah, I'm more than happy to discuss it.
Oh, I just like chatting it. I think it's
Sure.
fun.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
for me, it was a film that kind of like how for you this one felt like something was off. Beetlejuice, something felt like it was off for me in that one.
Oh yeah, that's not even So coming out of it, I guess, are we good talking spoilers?
I am.
Keep it, or keep
I
it.
think it's.
Go
I
ahead.
mean, we can definitely keep it spoiler free. I can go either way. I'm okay either or.
I mean, as long as we're talking, we might as well spoil the shit out of it. I mean, is there that much to spoil really with it?
Not really.
I mean,
You already know the story.
yeah, 100%. I mean, I there were good bits. Like there was a lot of stuff I enjoyed, but and I guess someone had said, and I imagine this is true, that I don't have any reason to doubt the person that told me. They wrote the movie based on the idea that they weren't getting Keaton back, and
Oh, okay.
then Keaton came back, so they had to add in more stuff with him in it. And regarded, he wasn't in it, like he was in it, but he wasn't in it like all the time. And I guess that's
No.
any good character. But honestly, there were too many villains. There was too much stuff. It felt episodic to me. Like you could have broken that out into 3 episodes, and that would have, one focused on each villain. I felt like. if that makes any sense. Kara? Man, is my opinion so bad? You left? Are you having post-nut clarity? Oh. Well, I guess her thing must have died. Hopefully she'll be back in a second. I'm just looking at chat here. Chris, it's good to know that you're going to start a band and call it Post Nut Clarity. That sounds like a good thing. But yeah, folks in chat, anybody there have any thoughts on Beetlejuice? I guess. I mean, Keaton was good. You can never go wrong with him. I did not realize that Jeffrey Jones actually wasn't dead, so that was kind of an interesting thing. Now I know how she feels when I fell off the face of the earth for a second. I'm not sure if it's easier to. I'm not even sure if I can end the stream by myself. Well. I'm not sure if Kara's phone died or maybe she lost connection, but oh, you're back.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, I got booted.
Oh God.
Not...
Hey, Slipknot fan is here. Hello.
Oh, you missed all the conversation on post-nut clarity. Yeah, we had this problem, I think last stream or the stream before, but yeah, I got kicked out a couple of times.
Oh, that's a pain in the ass. I didn't do a very good job of trying to hold it over, so I do apologize.
Oh no worries.
I was like, oh, should I just end it or should I keep it going? I don't know.
I know it's always an awkward situation to be in, and I'm over here on my phone like, hurry up, log back.
No, that's 100. You did what you could do, and that's in those cases. I mean, I ran into the same thing, so 100% okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just know it's never fun being stuck in the hot seat.
I'm an avatar. Yeah,
it happens.
Absolutely so.
Technically, I'm an avatar too.
Hey, but you know what? You look good.
Well, so do you.
Ah, thanks. It's all the post-nut clarity.
It really is. You can see and appreciate the beauty and everything afterward.
Absolutely. Everything's so green. But anyway, what are your thoughts on Beetlejuice?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it felt like it was lacking. I didn't like the subplot with the ex-wife. I don't think we needed it, and I think I've said it before. The reconstructing scene at the beginning where she's putting herself back together. I didn't like that it was all CGI. I would have liked it more if it had been practical, like the original film was. I would have liked if they used more practical effects.
See, I thought that they said that they were using largely I don't know how much CGI they used, but I thought they said that they were using mostly practical.
I didn't notice it. If it was there, I really didn't catch on.
Oh no, and that's cool. I just someone had said that because they brought back a lot of the folks that did the original, like the original effects as well, like V. Neil and some of those folks. But maybe that changed over the course of like production and such.
Yeah, like I didn't even appreciate the fact that the sandworm was computer. computer generated. I would have liked the actual stop motion sandworm.
Right, right. No, I don't blame you. But yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess the biggest thing was I like the Jeffrey Jones thing. I understand like building some part of the character around her dad, but after that, I don't know. It was almost too much.
Yeah, they laid it on thick. I mean, I wasn't expecting that from the movie. I was expecting more interaction between Lydia and Beetlejuice like there was in the first movie.
Yeah. And even like if you wanted to go next generation with it and have it be your daughter that talks to him, they really like there was not a lot of she kind of had her own things to deal with. I don't know. It was I don't know. It was it there were parts that worked. Like I really appreciated the expanded underworld. There was a lot of bits that were neat. But yeah, it's just what was done okay was what was done well, but everything else just there's too much. They did try to do too much.
Yeah,
Even the what the hell's her name? Jenna Ortega's like boy toy in that movie worked.
yeah,
Like but the thing is you've got that mixed in with all this other stuff and nothing has substance because they go through it so quickly.
yeah. There was a lot going on, and I mean, I was excited to come out to the theater to see it. I mean, it's one of those few films that I make exceptions for because I rarely go out. I'm like, especially when everything's on streaming these days, why bother?
Yeah. But
But
yeah,
but yeah.
I that's kind of all I got in terms of Beetlejuice, I guess. It was a movie. I saw it. I appreciated Keaton. Um
Yeah, I mean, Keaton did well. I mean, the film just felt like it was lacking.
yeah, the last I could have done and I know what they were trying to do with the last 15 minutes, but the last
Yeah.
15 kind of killed it for me.
See, that's the only. I went the entire movie watching it, and I'm like, and grumbling and whatever. And then it gets to that scene, and then I very gradually got into it, and probably just because they're playing old music during the scene.
Yeah. Like they
But
played the whole it's like when you go back to like 80s or 70s movies and they play the entire song
it was
as
too
compared to
much.
yeah, yeah, it was. And it was kind of that's kind of what the whole movie was. It was too much across the board.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to like it, but I also had this thing in my mind like, well, so much time has passed, it's probably not going to be that good anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'd say probably the best thing to come out of that film is all of the sandworm doggy costumes that I'm seeing for Halloween.
Aw, that's adorable.
Yeah, I loved it. I'm like, if I could find one, I would totally put one on my beagle.
Aw, that would be really cute.
It beats that Chucky running with the knife dog costume.
Yeah, that one's been out a bit. There was also I don't know if you watched Dragula, but one of the first like the first episode a sandworm was featured as one of the drag artists came out dressed as a sandworm.
Oh, I haven't seen that first episode, but I mean, not the new season.
It was a good start, I think. So they've got an interesting like a good interesting selection of folks. So
Oh, Hogan is saying our personal misogyny guy.
but you know what? You got it up and running again, and we appreciate you for it.
I've had a crush on Winona Ryder since the '80s. Yeah, she was pretty. I mean, she still is. She's still a beautiful woman.
Oh yeah, she's gorgeous. To look half of that beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But
And as far as I can tell, she hasn't had any work done.
yeah, I'm not sure. I guess I don't keep up on all that stuff. It's like, well, you know, if they're made up a certain way for a movie, there's a dozen different ways they could have gotten that way, whether that's their own looks, plastic surgery, or you know, prosthetics and just makeup.
Yeah. But I mean, even in Stranger Things, I mean, the where she's in her natural face, she looks good.
That's cool. That's really nice to hear because there's so many people that kind of go above and beyond, and it's like, did I don't know if it was needed.
No, I mean, some people completely look like they plastered an image of themselves from their 20s onto a 60-year-old body. I'm like, this doesn't match.
No, not even remotely. But yeah, no,
It's good for your skin.
It's good to know
It probably is. There would be a lot less teenagers with acne if they went that route.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Hogan, I think you should take all those post-nut clarity things you've said, put them on a t-shirt. I guarantee you that thing would sell like hotcakes.
It would. I mean, people would probably question, where's this coming from? But it's funny.
That's what she said.
She says a lot of things.
Yeah, she said, where did it come from? Sorry.
You mean, what did it come out of?
Yeah, that too. Whose cum is it? Anyway.
I mean, it's a rude thing to say, but if men can say it about women, then women can say it about men. A dick is like a toilet seat.
Yeah.
You do not know who was on it before you.
That is true. My mom was actually the kind who always said to hover over the toilet seat because germs, and it's like, what? Okay, cool.
It's weird to stand there like that, though. I mean, especially if you have bad knees.
Yes, very, very true. But well, if you learned nothing from this stream, post-nut clarity, make sure to have your personal massager and or non whatever you want to use as a massager, as long as it doesn't do harm to anybody else. Always ask for consent if you're going to use your massager on somebody else. Did we miss anything?
Always be discreet.
Yes.
Especially if you're going to use it in public.
Yes. Also, if you're going to chop off somebody's hand, make sure to be discreet about that too.
Yeah. You don't want to do it out in the open, but no. It is quite challenging and possibly entertaining to do it on a bus packed with people.
True. Hey, do you think when they chopped off that guy's hand that they were going to use it in a hand job?
I have no idea. I imagine that was the intention because they both knew that's what they were going for. She pounced on it right away.
Yes.
And then, of course, he grabbed hold of that hand first chance he got.
Exactly. Because he wanted that hand job thing.
Well, he needed a hand.
Yes, he did. Because the other one is never enough. It's like Pringles.
No, so technically, by that point, he had already had 3 hands.
That's true. He would be very good in porn if he had 3 hands.
So you have 2 love scenes in this movie, and you have a handy.
There's also where she's sewing his dick back on, and
he's standing there so proud.
Yep, he does. He looks like he's just living it up.
Well, even when he shows her he doesn't have anything, he's still standing there in this stance.
Well, you got to be proud of what you don't have as well as what you do. Maybe he's got phantom dick pains.
Phantom limbs.
Phantom limbs.
I can still feel it.
Funny because I can't. Oh.
Oh, here you go. What's the opposite of post-nut clarity? Pre-nut confusion.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's usually
what's wrong with a lot of people. Well, that's what's wrong with a lot of people. They're just stuck in pre-nut confusion.
Or non-nut.
True.
Which is pretty sad.
Yes. I have so much to consider now that we've discussed all this.
I'm like, we need some memes after all of this. I never think up good ones. I'm like, it's just usually on the fly that it happens.
No, that's okay. And those are sometimes the best, though, when you don't think about them. You know what that's a sign of?
Post-nut clarity?
Yes.
Oh, man. If somebody was doing that, taking a shot game every time we said that, I think they'd be drunk or close to alcohol poisoning by now.
Well, let's just assume post-nut alcoholic poisoning. But at least they will have gone out with some fun.
Yeah. It's the most fun you can have without going to a bar.
I suppose so. That doesn't involve a personal massager.
Well, there are other things like toothbrushes and such.
Yeah, I'm going to say no to the toothbrush thing. That just...
I don't get it, but apparently it's something that some people have done.
Oh, I'm sure people have done a lot of weird stuff. I've got a lot of family that are ER nurses, and they'll sit down and share horror stories. Not obviously giving names or anything, but just the general situations. Yeah. I'm not gonna go into them, but there's some there are some interesting people out there.
There was one because I like to follow medical accounts on Instagram, and there was one where there was an X-ray, and a man had two dildos up his colon, and apparently the thing that had happened was he lost it, and he was trying to use the second one to fish it out.
Sorry. One of the stories I got heard, this guy had taken Viagra and he had, I don't know what he was on, but it was like hardcore stuff. But in his pre-nut confusion, he decided to take another piece of Viagra, like a tiny piece, and shove it up places using a tiny drill bit. And he attached the drill bit to some like fishing line to try and pull the drill bit out, and the fishing line snapped. So he had a drill bit up an uncomfortable place.
Okay.
So he had to go into the ER and, get all that taken care of.
I mean, that definitely gives a whole new meaning to sit on it and spin.
Yes, exactly. Or the term screwed.
Yes. Which I didn't know, but technically in the end we all are, because after we go into the coffin or not, they actually do pretty much screw in a butt plug up you just to keep things from coming out.
I could see it. That's probably not the worst thing to have happen, but oof. Well, it's like when he was crying, or like when he was crying, and it was a what was it? A porta potty or a hot toilet at a carnival.
Yes. Oh. Let's see.
I don't. Maybe I try not to, but that's yeah. There are moments. Is it weird to say I enjoy some of them? Does that make me a sadomasochist? No, wait, that's not right. I always get the two confused.
Sadist is the one that likes being tortured.
Oh, okay, then yeah, I'm definitely that. So. Some of those I actually enjoy quite a lot, so I can't say too much, but
yeah, it's kind of like have you ever heard of did you ever hear the one about the argument between the masochist and the sadomasochist?
No.
The masochist was upset because the sadist wouldn't beat him. Not the best joke.
No, it's okay. It's cute. It's cute. It works in context.
It does. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I've got. I can't think of anything else.
Well, what do we spend, like 15 minutes on Lisa Frankenstein and an hour 15 on everything else?
It feels like it. It was definitely the post-nut clarity stream.
Absolutely. And that's what's good about it.
Yeah, it was fun. I love how it just came up randomly and it just kept going.
It has to. You know what? When you're live, you just go with it. It works.
If it works, it works.
Absolutely. And it clearly works. Which is why we like it.
Well, everyone likes a little bit of post-nut clarity.
That would be the hope.
Well, maybe not in the middle of church.
Yeah, that's definitely not the place. But
it's an interesting challenge.
That it is, and we definitely enjoy it.
But yeah, did you have anything upcoming that you would like to promote?
So I am trying. I can't guarantee it's gonna all come together, but my plan is to release a movie per week during Spooky Month. We'll see what happens, but I released a Lon Chaney classic from the 20s called The Penalty. Very good movie, highly suggest it. I guess I just gave away my review, but if you want to see my review of that, you can check that out. Up next is going to be The Monster Club with Vincent Price. And then after that, I have yet to figure that out. So stop by and say hi.
Monster Club is a total Halloween film.
Oh, I love it. It's so fun. It's just a fun, it's like this. It's just a fun movie.
It really is. I like it. And especially the fact that it's hokey and cheesy just adds to it.
Oh yeah, just the fact that the Monster Club is just literally full of people in masks.
Yes, really. It could be anyone in there.
Yeah, exactly. And like the description of the different mating couples of like the a werewolf and a ghoul, you get a wereghoul, and yeah, all of that.
Yes. It's educational.
Yes, incredibly so. And only Vincent Price would have been able to pull it off and not have it be silly, but still have it be something above the basic.
Well, even in his personal life, he was a practical joker, so I can see
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We lost something special when we lost him. So,
Very.
but
I
yeah.
mean, we got the tail end of Price. I mean, I remember seeing him in Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, he was great in that. And for as sort of as the Scooby series was, the 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo was pretty good too.
Was he in that?
He was. He was the well, actually he played a different character name, but it looked just like him, and obviously it was his voice. So
Yeah, I think that was the character that would use the phrase "these newfangled gadgets."
probably.
Sounds about right.
Yep. That would be right up his alley. So
Yeah, and I love that he worked to develop that type of enunciation. That wasn't his natural accent.
oh no, absolutely not. Which surprised me when I like when I first started watching him, I was a kid, but yeah, as you get older, you go, oh well, wow, this was not the way he actually sounded.
Not at all. But I love it. I mean, he sounds great when he speaks.
Very much, very well spoken.
hmm I mean, obviously, it's a very noticeable voice. It's a very great voice. They even used him for Thriller, so.
Oh yeah. Well, and just the way he could trill those and whatnot. So.
I mean, the only other person that I can think of that comes close is Tony Todd when he's doing his Candyman voice.
Oh, 100%. I have. I'm just looking at the chat here. Fibes. It's actually one of the first things I reviewed on my channel. It's a fantastic movie. Even the second one is pretty good.
It's a very beautiful film to watch.
Oh, they're both gorgeous. I mean, and like the Corman Price Poe tales are some of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are good. Trying to remember something Mask. I want to say that was another Corman and Price one.
Oh, the Mask of the Red Death.
Yes, I like that one.
Oh, that one was beautiful. I think that's probably my favorite Poe Corman joint, I guess. Not Poe Corman, Price Corman joint.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, those were really good. I don't think he did Tomb of Lygia. I think that was someone else.
Yeah, he was in most of them, not all of them. Another really good one that Price did. It wasn't with Corman, but it was what was it? Theater of Blood. It's based off of what's it based off of? Shakespeare. Like it's this actor that takes revenge on these theater critics. And it's such a good movie.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Highly suggest it. It's an incredibly good movie. It's a lot more serious than something like Monster Club, but there is a lot of Price's stuff. There are elements of humor that work incredibly well within it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you for saying.
Cheers.
Very awesome. So,
mm-hmm.
I do hope you've discovered both of us, though. I think you mentioned earlier you were on Triv's channel.
Yeah. Stop by any time. There's always, well, I shouldn't say there's always something new. There's a good chunk of stuff that comes and goes. So, but Kara is incredible too. You put out so much cool stuff.
I'm not as active as I was in my early days. I'd love to get back to it. I know I've been saying that forever and ever, but it'll work out when it works out.
Yeah, well, that's anything. Like you have to take the time. You have to do it when you have the time to give to it. Because if you were to try and rush it and not give yourself time, then yeah.
Yeah, you wind up with a mess.
Yeah, 100%. But.
Yeah, I can't think of any other Pope Poe. I was going to say Poe Christ because I had that pre-nut clarity.
That's okay.
Poe and Christ, yeah, that would be an awesome duo right there. I meant to say Corman and Poe.
Well, I've done a couple of his. I mean, Pit and the Pendulum is pretty classic. It's a very good one. What is the Fall of the House of Usher? Not the Fall of the House of Usher. I think it's just called House of Usher. That one is very good. They actually shot a lot of those back to back to use the space.
Yeah.
That's why you got so many of them. But Poe just like for all of the goofy stuff he did, he had some really really solid stuff. Like any of the Poe stuff is incredible. It's beautiful and it is genuinely kind of creepy. So
hmm I want to say Pit and the Pendulum. I have seen it, but it's been years.
and just make sure you watch the Price one because there's another one that's out there that's more modern and it's probably fine, but it's not the Poe. It's not Price in it basically.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, definitely worth seeking out.
Cool. I'll definitely take a look at those.
I'm kind of losing you, Kara.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me better there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I have no idea what else I'm going to watch this month, other than like once Halloween gets closer, like the traditional films I watch every year. But I haven't really set up a playlist for myself.
Well, you've got time. It's only the 5th of the month, so you got plenty of time.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to do Vlogtober. Basically, you upload a vlog every day for the month of October, and I obviously already fell behind. I haven't posted anything.
Well, you do it when you can, especially if life is busy. I mean, like I say, I used to try and upload every week, and it just became a thing where it became difficult to do. And I appreciate those folks that can upload every day or every week, but
It
God,
is
I
work.
can't pull it.
It is work. I did 31 days of horror, and then I think 2 years in a row I did Vlogtober because it's a little bit easier for me. But even then, I'm like last minute editing stuff.
Right. Well, and if you're trying to do something every day, even if you were ahead, you'd still be technically behind because it's a daily thing.
It is. I mean, it's one of those things you have to really plan out and film like a month or two ahead, just so that everything's pre-programmed and ready to go.
Right. Well, and it takes the stress off you too at that point.
It does, but I mean, it's fun. I eventually want to do 31 Days of Horror again, but yeah, I haven't set up my studio or anything, which is why I haven't been filming reviews. So
That's okay. You do it when you got time.
yeah. Oh, Yazi was asking, what films do you watch every October?
Oh, go ahead first, please.
I got into the habit of watching Demon Knight because one of my friends was really into it. I mean, it's a film I like anyway, but I never thought to make it an October film. One that I also like is Mad Mad Monster Party, which I think is from the '60s.
That would make sense.
Yeah, that one really fits. I like doing like all the kid like the gateway horror, like Monster House. Beetlejuice is obviously one of those. There's tons. I'm just struggling to remember right now. Pretty much anything Scooby-Doo works.
Oh, 100%. I'm trying to think for myself. It's goofy and not specifically horror related, but I'm a big fan of like classics. So for some reason, Arsenic and Old Lace became one of those that I always watch on Halloween as
That's a
I'm
good one.
giving out candy. I don't know, like it is sort of horror. It's kind of not horror, but I don't know. It always gives me warm fuzzies. Otherwise, WNUF or the WNUF holiday special, anything Price. So the Corman movies, or the Corman Poe movies, Theater of Blood, Monster Club, The Fly.
The Fly is good.
Oh well, the original Fly with Vincent Price is pretty solid too.
Oh no, that's the one I was thinking. Have you
Oh,
ever
cool.
seen any of the? Price isn't in them, but have you seen any of the Fly sequels?
I saw the second one. I don't think I've seen. Is there one beyond that?
There's a third one where it's kind of like a freak show type thing that they have going on.
Oh, Interesting.
Like
Um,
they're keeping all these mutants out in a barn.
that sounds pretty right on when you're talking about like the progression of that kind of horror. Um, yeah, I think Yats, you can actually see WNUF. I think it might be on Shutter. If you Google it, it should come up with options besides having to buy the disc. The DVD or the sorry Blu-ray has a lot of features, but it's certainly not something you need to buy outrightly. Um, I want to get into Ghostwatch. I've never seen the British or the UK movie Ghostwatch, which is kind of like WNUF.
Oh, okay.
That's always a good choice. Let's see the classics. I mean, all the slasher classics. I try to catch as many of those as I can. So
Yeah. I have never seen WNUF.
it's a really fun one, and its story, like the behind the scenes story with it, is fascinating. The guy actually would randomly go to like horror cons, leave copies of it on an unmarked VHS, and then when
Oh,
people saw it, they would assume not in quite the same way as Blair Witch, but kind of in that realm where you'd like pick up this random VHS and there's this whole broadcast from this random town, and it's a full like it's a newscast, and then there's like commercials that these guys built in
oh,
addition to this whole what is actually the titular NUF or WNUF holiday special. So
okay. Yeah. I don't know. I might catch it one of these days. For some reason, it hasn't been at the top of my Halloween watch
oh
list. But
no,
I know it's one a lot of people comment on.
it's a fun one, and especially if you, as much as possible, attempt to go in with the idea that it was seen by some as real, or thought of okay, well this seems like it's real because the attention to detail is amazing.
Oh, wow. That must have been a lot of work to put together.
100%. I mean, there's commercials like traditional 30-second commercials alone. There's probably at least I don't know 25 or so that they did in addition to the rest.
Yeah, moving collecting gets very expensive, especially I was at the point to where I was buying other region discs because they had special editions that we wouldn't get in the US.
Right.
So I had a region free player. I'm like, I've gotten over that. I've gone digital now. So, and have you seen the Spookies?
I have seen bits. I have not seen the whole thing. It's one of those things that's on the list, but yeah, WNUF would be. Oh, Spookies would be a good watch along.
Yeah. I've never heard or seen it.
It's kind of so they did that whole like back in the 80s where they had like Gremlins and movies like that. This was kind of a variation on that. So it's like Critters or Ghoulies. It kind of falls into that kind of general realm.
Like Hobgoblins?
To some extent, yeah. Like any of those kind of creature features from the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Worth a watch from what I remember.
Okay. Yeah, because I've seen most of the Gremlins ripoffs. But Spookies I've never heard of. The Munchies is my favorite ripoff film.
Oh, Munchies. Munchies or Munchie?
Oh, no. Munchie is a different one, but Munchies, plural.
I have not seen Munchies. I've seen Munchie, actually reviewed it, but yeah, Munchies, because aren't they like one a sequel of the other, or are they separate?
Are. No,
They
they
are.
are. They're both Roger Corman also.
Oh, okay.
But I love the cover of the Munchies, the original cover. That you have this Munchie, and it's marketed as a family film. But I love this about the '80s. He's got a cigarette in his mouth. He's holding a beer. He's looking up a woman's dress.
I think that's just the 80s though. Like look at Garbage Pail Kids. Regarded that's a very, very weird kind of
Oh, I love it.
comparison. Yeah. Actually, if you get the chance, there's one out called have you seen Psycho Gorman?
I haven't. I've been wanting to. I know it's on Shudder. I still haven't gotten around to it.
Okay, so the guy that did Psycho Gorman, if you end up watching that, he did another movie that's just now coming out called Frankie Frico. Frankie Frico. Sorry, I had to think. But it has a lot of DNA from Garbage Pail Kids.
I'd probably enjoy that then.
It's an interesting movie. Yeah, it fits within that kind of 80s kind of realm the same way Lisa Frankenstein does.
Oh, okay. So I'd probably enjoy that one then.
Oh yeah, it lives in that world. It's pretty good. There's bits that don't work, but the overall, like, the attention to detail on the puppets, the kind of aesthetics work really well.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, definitely stuff I should be putting on my watch list. Definitely stuff I've never seen or heard of before.
Well, and it's always about time, with any of this stuff. So
Yeah, like it's not really Halloween themed, but I think a good one to watch around Halloween is Eight-Legged Freaks.
I could see that, though. It's still dealing with like that kind of spooky, like not spooky but scary stuff that a lot of people don't enjoy. Okay, but it has a lot of like that same, like the way that the puppets are done, the way that they're shaped. You can definitely see the influence. There's no
What?
one actually actively pissing their pants, I don't think.
Oh.
Like the creatures
Yeah.
aren't as ugly as Garbage Pail Kids, but it has some of those the things you could attribute. So
Nice.
inspiration, is that a better? It takes inspiration
That's
from
it.
that. Maybe that's better.
That
Worse, I
probably
don't know.
sounds better. You said it was called Frankie Frico?
Yep. Yeah. Frankie Frico, and I think it's on Shutter. Or yeah, I think it's on Shutter. So
Okay, cool. I just put that on my watch list.
awesome. Oh, one thing with WNUF, there is also a second one. I would, if you want to check out the second one, feel free, but definitely check out the first one first. So, um, and with the Frankie Frico trailer, it manage expectations off that trailer, because a lot of that happens, but the story is about, it goes in directions you're not necessarily thinking based on the trailer. So, just as a heads up.
No, I usually blind watch stuff, so I think I'm okay there. I can probably I can probably skip that one then. I very rarely watch trailers for movies.
It
I
can be a mixed bag, especially nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, what I don't like is I if it's something I'm interested in or catches my interest right off, I'll watch the teaser, but I'll never
Oh,
watch the full trailer.
yeah, that's a good way to do it, I think.
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, I mean that's the most is teaser. I don't like feeling like I'm going to, like you said, it's kind of like sometimes the trailer it feels like it's influencing you to think it's this kind of a film or has this feel about it, and it's something entirely different.
Absolutely. And it does have, obviously, all that stuff happens in it, but it goes above and beyond those bits. So, which is
Hmm.
true of any movie, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I just find I'm less disappointed with a film if I just go into it blind. Like if I'll notice, oh, a lot of people are talking about this, I'll look at the poster. I'm like, yeah, that looks interesting. I'll check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good way to look at it.
Like Long Legs is one of those. I still haven't gotten around to seeing it, but I know even when it was first announced, a lot of people went nuts over it. I'm like, okay, this is something I should probably check out.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's beautifully shot. I would say watch it on the biggest screen that you can, or that you have access to. So definitely don't do it on your phone or on a small
Oh,
computer
okay.
screen. Like if
Yeah,
you
I
can find a
mostly.
bigger screen, watch it on a bigger screen, because the way that it's shot, it's worth the appreciation of that.
Oh, okay. Okay, good thing to keep in mind. I usually watch movies on the go. Like if I'm at the laundromat, I'll watch. Probably not the best choice, but the last thing I watched while I was waiting for laundry at the laundromat was X.
But that there's a lot going on beyond just the visuals in that.
It
You can
is. It
listen to
is.
some of it, and yeah, no, I understand.
No, I just mean if somebody happens to walk by and catch on my screen what's there, I'm like, I'm sure, especially because some people bring their kids with them, I'm like, it's probably something that some people wouldn't appreciate.
Well, that's a fair point.
But yeah, I think that's all I've got. I can't think of anything else.
Same. I think I've talked through all the important stuff. I will try to attempt to go have post-nut clarity.
Once a day, I think that's your prescription. I'm writing that prescription for you.
All right, I will do what I can to follow it. I got to keep everything charged up to be able to keep that up properly.
Yeah. Well, shower head if all else fails.
That's very true. It is a good substitute.
It'll work.
Yes, I like it. Go forth and have post-nut clarity, whoever is watching.
Yes. You will not regret it.
Absolutely. I like this plan. It's a good plan.
It's a good plan.
Yeah.
And if all else fails, try again. There's always plan B.
Exactly.
But yeah, as far as myself, I don't have any. I usually plan my streams the same week that it's going to be, so I don't know which film I'm going to be doing next week.
Whatever. Well, you know what? Post-nut clarity will help you to figure that out.
It probably will, especially while watching films and thinking, yes, this is a good topic.
Yeah, I like that. It's a good way to look at it. Hell, it could be long legs.
It might be. But alrighty. I will go ahead and say have a good day there.
You as well. Thank you for having me on. As always, it's always a pleasure.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I love our conversations. Like I said, I think we bounce well off of each other. This and Tucker and Dale, those were awesome chats with you.
Oh yeah, 100% agreed. They were very fun.
But yeah, I mean, hopefully we can do this again soon.
Yeah.
I know you said you're down for just about any type of movie, so I'll see if I find something and I'll run it past you and see if you might be interested.
As long as you give me a little bit of heads up, I can probably make damn near anything work. So.
Yeah, or we could always just schedule it further ahead if that works for you.
Also, that's also a good option.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess that would be, I'll call it a stream right there. And as usual, that is all we have for you guys for today. And we will talk to you later.
Have a good spooky month.